somewhere along the bayous of Louisiana, in a parish whose exact location has been deliberately obscured from historical records, there exists a documented account that challenges everything we understand about survival, will, and the boundaries between human and animal nature. Court documents from 1847 reference an incident involving 8 hunting dogs, a locked cellar, and a young woman who emerged after 72 hours not as a victim, but as something the local magistrate described only as possessing an authority I cannot explain and dare not question. The plantation where this occurred was burned to the ground within a week of the incident, its ashes scattered, its records destroyed. Yet 3 separate letters from neighboring estate owners, now housed in a private collection in Baton Rouge, describe the same impossible scene. A girl of no more than 19 years, walking calmly through the main gates at dawn, 8 massive hunting dogs following in perfect formation behind her, their eyes fixed on her back with what one witness called the devotion of disciples. The Baroness, who owned both the girl and the dogs, was found dead in her chambers that same morning, though the cause was officially recorded as heart failure. What happened in that cellar was never officially investigated, never publicly discussed, and deliberately erased from parish records. Until now, the full account has remained buried in fragments across Louisiana's forgotten archives. Before we continue with the story of what transpired on the Devereaux estate in St. Landry Parish, I need you to do something. If this introduction alone has sent a chill down your spine, hit that subscribe button right now, because stories like this, stories that blur the line between documented history and inexplicable events, are what we bring you every week. And leave a comment telling me what state or city you're listening from. I want to know where in America our community of mystery seekers is growing. Now let's discover what really happened in that cellar, and why the truth was worth destroying every record of its existence. The events that would forever stain the Devereaux name began not with the girl or the dogs, but with the arrival of a widow to Louisiana's sugar country. St. Landry Parish in the 1840s existed as a patchwork of old French colonial pride and new American ambition, where the rhythms of sugarcane cultivation dictated everything from marriage prospects to social standing. The parish stretched across fertile lowlands, where cypress swamps gave way to endless rows of cane, and the air hung perpetually thick with moisture that made wool clothes cling and tempers flare. This was Acadian country, where French remained the language of choice among established families, where Catholic saints watched from every mantelpiece, and where the old ways of doing things, the brutal mathematics of plantation economics, went largely unquestioned by those who profited from them. The town of Opelousas served as the parish seat, a modest collection of buildings arranged around a central square where the courthouse stood, its columns already showing signs of decay despite being less than 20 years old. On Saturdays, this square filled with planters' wives examining fabric from New Orleans, enslaved people moving between errands under the watchful eyes of overseers, and occasionally traveling preachers warning of judgment and damnation. But the real power in St. Landry didn't reside in Opelousas. It lived on the estates that spread like kingdoms across the surrounding countryside, each one a world unto itself, governed by whoever held the deed. The Devereaux estate sat 7 miles northwest of town, accessible only by a shell road that became impassable in heavy rain. The property had originally belonged to the Fontenot family, prosperous French Creoles who'd built their fortune through careful marriages and ruthless efficiency. When the last Fontenot heir died without children in 1843, the estate passed through a complicated series of transactions that left it in the hands of a woman few in the parish had ever met. Baroness Eloise Devereaux arrived in Louisiana in April of 1844, traveling from Charleston with a retinue of servants, several trunks of European furnishings, and a reputation that had preceded her by several months. She was widow to a minor Belgian noble, whose death, rumors suggested, had been financially convenient for the Baroness. She was perhaps 40 years old, though she dressed younger, favoring expensive fabrics in colors that drew attention. Her face bore the type of beauty that had begun to harden at its edges, the kind that required constant maintenance.